Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and right now, at the very moment of this video being recorded, we are just over 24 hours away from the worldwide launch of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. It's an awesome time to be a Call of Duty fan, and today Treyarch decided to put out a new blog post. I'll put a link to that down in the description, where they basically go over everything that has changed between the beta version of the game and the version of the game that we're going to see tomorrow during launch. It's quite a hefty blog post, but at the same time, a lot of it is information that you don't really need to know, or information you won't really care too much about. The focus of this video is going to be all the stuff that you guys should care about, because it's pretty important to the overall balance and the feel of Black Ops Cold War going forward. Let's start things off here by talking about the new guns that they have added. They tried to be tricky with this one. They listed in their blog post 5 of the new weapons and then put plus more after that, but because of all the data mining that's gone on so far, we already know that the reality is it's not 5 plus, like there's gonna be a whole bunch more. No, the actual number is 7. There are going to be 7 new weapons within Black Ops Cold War starting tomorrow, as compared to the number of weapons we saw back during the beta. We have the addition of the FAMAS Assault Rifle, the AUG Tactical Rifle, the DMR-14 Tactical Rifle, the Bullfrog SMG, which is basically the Bison. We have the M60 Light Machine Gun, we have the Barrett 50 cal Sniper Rifle, and the Thumper Special Weapon. Those are going to be the new weapons that we're going to see tomorrow during the launch of Black Ops Cold War. And then, of course, we're going to see all the weapons that we saw back during the alpha and back during the beta. Now, moving along here, they rebalanced a lot of the game, and we're going to be going over just the important stuff here today. Number 1, we have the assault rifles. They have all been balanced to be closer to how the Krieg and the XM4 performed, which I think is interesting. So they're taking guns like the AK-47 and the QBZ and trying to make them more like the Krieg and the XM4. It's kind of confusing how they worded that, but yeah, assault rifles have been rebalanced to be closer to the Krieg and the XM4, and they also gave the AK-47 more recoil, which makes sense because the AK was kind of a laser in the Cold War beta. It was actually one of my favorite guns back during the Cold War beta. Moving along here, we have submachine guns receiving a damage range nerf. This was actually pretty expected. I talked about this in both of my reviews of the beta for Black Ops Cold War. It seemed like because the maps are so big as compared to like old school Call of Duty games at least, because the maps were so big, they worried that submachine guns weren't going to do all that well, and so as a result, I think they overtuned them for the alpha and the beta, and as a result, going into the full launch of the game, submachine guns like the MP5 and the Milano and the AK-74U are not going to be as effective at range, which is a good thing. We actually saw this exact same problem back in Black Ops 4. Back in Black Ops 4, they overtuned all the submachine guns pretty much. Remember the XM9? Like, no one talks about that gun anymore, but the XM9, the very first SMG you got in Black Ops 4, was completely busted during the beta, and then it got way more balanced once the game officially came out. Well, the same thing's gonna be pretty much true with Black Ops Cold War, presumably, right? I mean, the AK-74U was busted during the alpha, the MP5 was pretty busted during the beta, and both have been nerfed. All submachine guns across the board have been nerfed, and we're going to have to wait and see how things are going to play out in regards to that. Moving along here, light machine guns have been buffed. They have increased the damage and the damage range of the light machine guns, which is probably for the best. I didn't use LMGs all that much during the beta. I mean, I tried to use the Stoner, but there was like no situation where an LMG was good except for like shooting down air support. Like, it seemed like SMGs and assault rifles were just as good at range, but without all the movement and handling penalties that LMGs have. So LMGs now hit a bit harder. We'll see if that actually makes them a little bit better. They have adjusted aim assist on sniper rifles to require more skill, is how they put it. So I'm basically interpreting that as they nerfed the auto-aim on the sniper rifles in an effort to make them a bit more difficult to use, which was something they needed to do. Let's be honest, they actually nerfed them going from the alpha into the beta, but they were still ridiculously good during the beta, and the sniper rifles got nerfed yet again. I think that's a good change. That's coming from somebody who absolutely loves sniping within Black Ops Cold War. They also slightly increased the aim down sight time for sniper rifles, though I don't think that's going to be a huge huge deal because there's a number of attachments within Black Ops Cold War that will allow you to have a faster aim down sight speed with sniper rifles. So even though it's going to be a bit slower by default, you can speed it right back up once you unlock a couple of attachments for your snipers. Moving along here, they nerfed the damage range and the hipfire accuracy of the, what's it called? The Diamati? Is that how you pronounce it? The burst pistol, right? The burst pistol, which was ridiculously good. They nerfed the damage range on that as well as the hipfire accuracy. And also, big news to me here, they reduced the fire rate for the Spaz 12 shotgun. The Spaz 12, in my opinion, was probably the best overall gun in Black Ops Cold War. It was the secondary I had on every single class, and especially in certain situations and on certain maps like Moscow, that gun was like nearly unbeatable. In fact, I think they're going to nerf it again after the opening week of Black Ops Cold War because I'm going to be using it quite a ton, and other people are going to probably eventually catch on to the fact that if you're in the same room as somebody with a Spaz 12, you kind of just die. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, going from the beta into the full launch, they did reduce the fire rate on the Spaz 12 shotgun. Now, moving along here, they updated the balance. They didn't really give us many details here, but they updated the balance of roughly half the attachments in the game across the board. So that's going to be interesting. Maybe suppressors aren't going to be as bad. Maybe certain barrels are going to be better. Maybe certain grips are going to be worse. They updated the balance of roughly half the attachments in the game, which is going to be interesting. And fingers crossed, I talk about this every single time I review or discuss Black Ops Cold War, but they really, in my opinion, need to nerf or even just straight up remove that vehicle damage increasing barrel. Right, that barrel that makes it so you do like whatever, 200%, 300%, 600% increased damage to vehicles, that thing has to get nerfed into the ground because otherwise score streaks are going to be useless a couple of weeks into Black Ops Cold War. Let me give you guys a little bit of a history lesson here, right? Back in Modern Warfare 2, which was notorious for the Call of Duty developers not really paying attention to their game and trying to make it better and trying to fix it, there was a big glitch on Xbox called the care package glitch. It was an infinite care package glitch where you could just call in infinite care packages, and for like a month there, or at least a couple of weeks, lobbies were just completely spammed with kill streaks. It was actually insane, right? Well, as a result, the entire Xbox community got pretty good at shooting down air support because it was a thing. That glitch was not really on PlayStation, mind you, right? So after that was fixed, eventually, it was a weird situation on YouTube. Now, all the content creators and everyone were discussing this. When you play on Xbox, your air support got shot down like immediately because people were kind of like trained to do that because that glitch existed for so long and they had to shoot down that air support, otherwise the game was completely unplayable, right? Whereas on PlayStation, that glitch didn't really exist nearly as much, and therefore people just kind of continued to play the way that they normally do. That was a thing, right? So moving on here to Black Ops Cold War, it's going to be a situation, I feel like, where pretty early on, people are going to realize, people like me are going to be making videos, people are going to be watching people on Twitch, people are going to realize that once they're playing the game and seeing how things work, as soon as the entire community realizes that the default RPD class can take a chopper gunner out of the sky in less than 4 seconds, kill streaks are going to be useless. They really are. I've talked about this every single time. Nobody seems to agree with me for some reason, but I shot down countless bits of air support during the alpha and the beta, and I didn't even have to dedicate an entire class to it. I just used the default RPD class, which already had that vehicle damage barrel on it, right? Attack helicopters, sentry guns, chopper gunners. I mean, we're going to have the AC-130 returning in the full launch of the game. They're all going to be useless, assuming they don't nerf that one particular attachment. I'm sorry, guys. I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours, but I'm telling you right now, mark my words, it's going to be an issue. And I've talked about it so many times, I wish they would have addressed that between, the alpha and now, but if they did not do that, then we're going to have a problem come the full launch of the game. But moving along here, they added functionality for dual wielding on pistols, which I suppose is pretty cool, and they also increased weapon levels for each gun from a maximum of 40 to a maximum of 55 to reflect the 55 total attachments that will be available for every single gun in the game. Now, if you're one of the people out there who were really annoyed as to how often people were sliding and jumping within Black Ops Cold War, you're going to be happy to know that they nerfed sliding's length as well as its speed. Jumping hasn't really been changed whatsoever, but when it comes to sliding, you can't slide as far and you can't slide as fast, so that's probably a good thing. They also adjusted score for score streaks yet again. It's kind of hard to track this at this point. They made it so you get more bonus score on a 10 kill streak and on a 15 kill streak, but that score streak multiplier system that they're trying to force down our throats modes is going to be tweaked and changed so many times between launch and then the inevitable end of Black Ops Cold War support. It's going to be changed constantly based on player feedback and based on their own internal data. But yeah, they adjusted the score requirements for score streaks yet again. And also, interestingly enough, they buffed the attack helicopter's damage, which it needed it. The attack helicopter was useless. But they also nerfed the chopper gunner duration and damage. So, pretty interesting there. One of the highest score streaks in the game, and they nerf it? I mean, they're pretty hard to get, even with this new system, so why nerf them? I mean, big, powerful score streaks are one of the fun things about the Call of Duty franchise, but we'll wait and see how things play out tomorrow. And then on top of that, they added a bunch of normal stuff that you would expect, right? So they added all the attachments into the game. They added combat records into the game. They added all the weapon camos into the game. They added private match bot support. They added beater mode. And basically everything that we expected to be there at launch was added to the game today. And it will be there tomorrow once the servers actually go live. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That pretty much does it for the blog post. Again, I'll put a link to the full blog post down in the description. It's worth a read, but a lot of it is stuff that isn't overly important. If I covered every single thing, this would be like a 2-hour-long video, especially if I discuss each aspect of it, right? So I just want to give you guys the long and the short of this, kind of give you the broad strokes of what was changed going from the beta into the full launch. So I gotta tell you guys, I am pretty damn excited about this. I really am. Black Ops Cold War was a lot of fun during the alpha and the beta. I put like 80 hours into the beta alone, playing on the same 4 maps over and over, which turns out that's like, 80% of the maps that are going to be in the game at launch. But either way, I'm excited for like the actual game to be out, the actual leveling to be there, the actual progression to be there, and going for Dark Matter and getting up to Prestige Master during Season 0 and getting my Prestige keys, which, by the way, they did announce today that those Prestige keys that you can spend in the Prestige shop, not only can you get old school Prestige Master icons from the shop, but you can also get the old school Blackout Prestige icons as well as the Zombies Prestige icons from in there, which is pretty cool. I can't wait to see the full game, right? I can't wait to get my hands on it. Obviously, I will be streaming it over on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/NerosCinema. The plan is, as soon as I'm able to, as soon as the servers go live, I'm probably going to stream for like 8 hours until I pass out in my chair. And it's going to be a crazy opening night. I'll be recording the entire time, and then hopefully the next day, I will be able to take a lot of that footage and then compile together a first impressions video for you guys. But until then, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. We're going to wrap things up there. I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you did, consider leaving a like, leave your thoughts and feedback down in the comments, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.